If you have seen CRMs like Zoho and Salesforce, you see that what they do is that they make your life very, very comfortable and simple. Why? Because you are able to track every single thing in your company. Every single thing is trackable. You know what's coming in and you know what's going out. CRM can be used for so many things, but the most important thing is that it's a customer relationship management system. So it's majorly used to follow a customer from when they get into the company until they get out. Sometimes getting out might be you're done with the contract. Sometimes getting out might be they refuse to work with you. So some of these CRM can cost money. Some CRM like Salesforce can cost a lot of money, while you might decide to say, hey, I'm going to build my CRM because I'm not very sure that Salesforce or Zoho or any other CRM that I want to use really fit my company. So that's why today we're going to be learning how to build a simple CRM with Adalo. We're going to do everything from scratch. It's going to be me showing you from A to Z how you too can build your own CRM with Adalo from scratch. So let's get it together. So first, in order for you to build your CRM, there are a couple of things that you definitely have to know, which is how to structure your database. Because if you come back to Adalo and we click on login, I'm assuming that you have an Adalo account. So you click on login and then you begin a new project. So we're going to begin a new project. We're going to get into my team. Adalo allows you to create a whole lot of team. Right then, I'm going to say create new application. I'm going to say mobile only for the sake of this tutorial, but of course you know that with Adalo you can create both mobile, tablet, and desktop. So I'm going to say mobile only, and I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to say mobile CRM, right? And I'll leave the default color. You can always choose color anytime you want. I'm just going to leave it like so. So one thing that is very important when you're building your Adalo application is the database. The database has to be very good, because the more robust your database is, the better your life is going to be in the long run. But thank God that Adalo has this new feature called Adalo X-ray that allows you to see how your app is doing, to see how healthy your application is. So if you come here and you see the database, you'll see collection, and a whole lot of them. So first thing first, before we build our CRM, we'll have to structure our database. Let's come back here to ScaliDraw. So while you're thinking of structuring your database, the most important question to ask yourself is, what is the job that has to be done? And who is involved? What do they have to do and who is involved? Or what's the role of the person and what kind of job do they have to do? Because your database is like a noun. In those days in primary school, we say a noun is the name of any person, animal, place, or things. So what you do is that you need to know all the things that's in your application, that's in your company, and how all of these things relate with each other. If you do not know, there is no way you can build a very good application for your company. Knowing how things relate is the best thing that can ever happen to you. First thing first, let's bring a block. So first thing first, we're going to call this block. We're going to call this block blue. And what you need to know about the first block that we're going to create here is that the first block is going to be called users. The reason why is because this application, this CRM, is going to be used by your staff, by members of the company. And so we have to bring them in, of course. We're going to label the first block users, right? We're going to see how everything relates together. And for users, they will need to have some certain feeds attached to them. So let's look for so I'm going to drag this in here. So for users, they're going to have name, they're going to have email, they're going to have phone number, they will have their role. So the reason why they will have their role is because not every person in your company have the same role. Some persons will have role admin, Some persons will have role like sales. Some persons will have role like support. The role can be as many as possible, right? So I'm going to make this smaller. And I'm going to change the color of this one. Okay. And then after all, they would have password, definitely. So this is majorly for protection. Adalo has some very good strict rules, but this password thing is handled by Adalo. You don't really have to think of it, right? So the next, shall I put this in here? Maybe just leave it here or put it at the bottom here. The next we're going to create another database, and I'm going to change the color to green. And this time, I'm going to call this contact. I'm going to call this contact. So the reason why I'm calling it contact is because the most important thing that your CRM is going to do is to keep contact. So your customers are contact. So you can call this contact or you can call them customers. It's fine. But not all contacts are customers, but some customers can be, but all customers are contacts, right? So we're going to call this contact and leave it in here. And these contacts will definitely have some roles attached to them. So we're going to put it like the side here, and this contact is going to have some characters like first name, last name, company. So we're going to have company also, but this is going to be a different relationship entirely. So this is going to have relationship with company, right? And then as a company, we're also going to have their phone number. We're going to have their email. We're going to have their status. So this is mostly if this person is a lead, if this person is a prospect, or this person is a customer. Right? If this person is a customer, then it's a different thing entirely. If this person is a lead, then it's a different thing entirely. Right? Just different things entirely. So it's going to be lead, prospect, or a customer. So if this person is a customer, it means this person has paid. Right? So then we're going to have assigned to, and this is going to be relationship with the user. And then we're going to have notes. We're going to have notes. Why? The reason why we're having notes is because every time you contact the customer, you would have to leave a note. So I used to work as a customer success officer for a company. And every time I contact the customer, I would definitely have to leave a note of my conversation with the customer. Even though you can automate this with some tools on the internet, but it's still very, very important, because when you automate it with that tool, probably the tool is listening to your conversation or is keeping tab with the conversation you are having with the customer. You would still need a feed for that tool to dump it in afterwards. So it's definitely very, very, very good, right? So the next table we're going to have, so this is our table. The next table that we're going to have, I don't want all of these things to be scattered everywhere. I want it to be well arranged. So let's push this a bit. Let's take this in here. Let's push this a bit. Let's just put this in here. So now we have users, we have contacts. We need another one. This right here is going to be the companies, right? So we need companies. We need a companies table. And this is just going to be very, very, very straightforward, right? So put a test here. The companies table, we need name, we need industry, right? This could be a test or it can be a drop down, right? And then we need a website of the company. We need a website of the company. We need the contact of the company. So this is where I was telling you that a company will have a relationship with the contact. So a company can have many branches. So a company can have many branches, but a contact belongs to one company. So Adalo has different types of relationship. It has the one-to-one relationship, it has the one-to-many relationship, and it has the many-to-many relationship. It really depends on what kind of application you're building, right? That's how you choose your relationship. And then also we have another table, and this table we give it a different color now. We're running out of colors. This table we're going to call it note, right? It's a very tiny table. What this does is that it's going to take all the notes as you follow up on the leads. This is the table that we're going to put all the notes in. So let's put it here by the side as usual. So we're going to have notes title, and then we'll have the content of the note. Of course, you have the person who created it, created by, yeah. And then we'd have this note is also going to have a relationship with the contact, right? So the contact, of course, is the customer. So this note is a customer can have many notes, but a note belongs to one customer. And lastly, we're going to have one last table, and we're done. We can go straight to Adalo and start working on our application. We're going to have one last table, and this table is going to be called deals, right? Because what you're going to use this for is majorly for the financials. The reason why is because you have the goal of your company is to make money, right? That's the goal of your company, is to make money. And you need a way to tell yourself that you're making money. And that's what deals are for, right? To just track sales opportunities. If there's nothing telling you that your company is making money, then you're definitely losing money. So let's go. We'll put it here. Put it here, right? So this is going to be, we're going to have about. So title will likely be the name of the project. And then we're going to have stage of the deal. And likely it's going to be new, in progress, and, probably won and lost. And then you're also going to have close date. And also we'll have the contact, the person, the owner of this deal, and we'll have assigned to. So all this is going to have relationship with user, and this is going to have relationship with contact. Right. Once we're done with our table, then we can go ahead and build our CRM. But first of all, let me show you how the relationship works. So we have users, create contact, right? Our CRM has users, and then our users has contact, and then contacts, right? Companies have contacts, companies have contacts, and contacts also have relationship with the company. So a company can have many contacts, but the contact belongs to one company. And then we also have contacts having a relationship with nodes. And then also we also have another relationship, contact having a relationship with deals. So that's how application really works. It's a relationship between a lot of things. So you're pulling data using relationship. So let's go ahead and create a CRM right here. I'm pretty sure you understand data types already in Adalo. I don't really need to stress it. If you don't understand data type, you can check my previous video and you'll be able to find where I explain data types, the different data types in Adalo, right? So let's start from the users table. Adalo comes with a default users table field like email, password, username, and full name. So for the full name, we're going to change it to first name. So this is how I like to structure my data, using the first underscore name. So I like it to be this type of case. I don't like the common case, right? So we say save, and then we create a test again and call it last name. Save, and then we will create another one. We'll call this phone number. phone number. Calling it a number, but it should be a test because there are some countries that are so weird. So let's just leave it as a test. So say phone underscore number, because we're not really going to be adding it up. So it's fine to leave it as a test. And then also we will have the role. So this is where Adalo kind of falls short sometimes, right? For the role, we will have to insert it by ourselves, right? It's going to be a drop down, but we will have to insert it ourselves when the user is choosing their role on sign up, right? So we say role, and then we will choose. I think that's all. So there's no need for us to add password to it. Once we're done with that, the next thing that we're gonna create is a content table. So let's do so. Let's add a collection. Add a database collection, and we'll call this contact. Contact, then we'll say you can use follow through with Adalo and use the capital letter. Say add, so we'll say first name of the contact, first name of the contact, and then again next we'll say choose a test property, last name of the contact. And then we will add the email of the contact, and we will add the phone number, and we will also add the status of the contact. We'll add a status, and then we will assign it to. So this is the first time that we're going to be using relationship in our application. So we're going to say as a relationship, and then we'll click on users. So if you look at it, Adalo brings 3 different types of relationship here. The first one is a user can have multiple contacts. A contact belongs to one user. A user can only have one contact. A contact can have multiple users. A contact can have multiple users, and a user can have multiple contacts. So you have to understand what really works with a company here. So if you have a company where one person follows a customer from beginning of the relationship to the end, then you can go for the first one, right? But if you have a whole lot of people following up one customer, then you would have to go for the many-to-many relationship. So here, we're just going to assume like we have one person in the company following up a customer for a very long time. Okay, so we're going to say assign to, challenge this A, and then we are done. So for the other relationship like notes, we're going to do that later. So the next, we'll create another database. We're going to create a company. We're going to create companies. Yeah. This is very short and straight to the point. So we have companies. Okay. And then we have the notes. And last DB, we have the deals. So let's go to the company. Let's add a property. This is going to be the name of the company. Adalo already has it. And then we're going to have the industry of the company. And then we're going to have the website. This is likely going to be a URL website of the company. And then we're going to have the contacts. So we're going to have relationship with the contacts. A contact can have many companies, but a company belongs to one contact. So you see, a contact can have multiple companies, but a company belongs to one contact. Why? Because a person can have many branches, but a branch belongs to one organization, right? So we'll choose the first relationship right there, and that's it. We'll choose the first relationship right there, and we'll say save, right? And for the deals, let's go for note first. So we have the title. So for the name of the note, we're just going to change it to title. And then we have add property test, and this is going to be the content of the note. And then the next one is going to be the date the note was created, date created. And then we're going to have the person who created it. So we're going to have created by the user, right? So a user can have multiple nodes. A node belongs to one user, right? And then, so let's say created by, and then now we know that this node belongs to a contact, right? A contact can have multiple nodes. A node belongs to one contact. So we're going to put it like that. And the last one we'll fix here is the deals. So we'll have the name, the title of the deal, and then we will have the amount, and then we will have the stage of the deal, and then we will have the date, the close date of the deal, and we will have the person who the deal was assigned to. So a user can have multiple deals. A deal belongs to one user. So we'll also have assigned to, and also then have the contact. The contact the deal belongs to, right? So let's have relationship and we have contact. A contact can have multiple deals. A deals belong to one contact. So I know in this tutorial we're choosing the first one-to-many relationship, but it's not always the case. There's sometimes where you have to choose many to one relationship. So choose the first one and we're done. So understand that when you're building with Adalo, you can also use a standard collection. So let's say, for example, you have your CRM on Airtable or you have it on Notion. You have it on different platforms entirely. You can bring it to Adalo and turn it into a mobile application that you can carry all around. And all you have to do is to use this a standard data collection. So let's begin to fix our application. Adalo comes with 4 ready-made screens. So no, it comes with 4 ready-made screens right here. I know it's so tiny, but I'm going to zoom it in. I just want to bring everything to the middle. So that comes with a few screens. The first one is the name of the application, right? The name of the application right there. So if you click into it, of course, you know that you can change what's inside. So I'm going to call it mobile CRM. And you can do whatever you want to do with this. You can have different screens entirely, but I'm not really going to bother so much about this, right? So the first thing that we want to do is a page where a person can create a content, right? I'm not going to put so much design in it. I'm just going to show you how things are supposed to work, right? So I'm going to add a couple of buttons, just a couple of buttons in here, because it's a quick tutorial to tell you, okay, this is what is achievable with Adalo, and this is exactly what you can do. So we're going to have a couple of buttons. This one, I'm going to say add contact, right? Then the next button, I'm going to create another button here again. And this button, I'm going to call it, I'm going to call this button add companies. And then I will duplicate the button. And I'm going to call this one add notes. And I will duplicate the notes and say add deals. This is mainly what a CRM will look like. It's like a spreadsheet that you keep on adding things so you can follow everyone up, right? So we have the add contact, and we're going to link to a screen called the add contact screen. That's what we're going to do in this tutorial. So we're going to click on screen and we'll call the screen the add contact screen. We'll create screen. So this is the add contact screen, and we're going to also duplicate the screen like this. This is going to be add company screen, right? And then we will duplicate it. And duplicate it one more time because we have 4 different screens, right? So this is going to be the add notes screen, and then we have the add deals screen. So we have all of these screens together. And one thing that Adalo does very well is using forms. Adalo has a very good inbuilt form creator that you can use to collect information in your application. And one good thing that this form does is that it mirrors your database and displays everything in your database on the screen. Let's look for a form and let's put it in here. So the first thing that Adalo is going to ask you is, what's this form about? We'll say it's contact. So you can see, once you say it's contact, you see Adalo quickly adds the first name, the last name, the email, the phone number, and the status, right? So let's click on this, click on the feed. We can arrange the way the feed look like. All the visible feeds, we can arrange everything, right? And we want to also add who are we assigning the contact to, right? That's it, assigned to, and we don't need to add the companies, neither do we need to add the nodes and the deals. So for the status, we would either have to create the form manually, or we would have to make do with typing the status of the person in the CRM. So what I mean create the form manually, if you click here, you will see something called a drop down. So if you're using this, it means that if you're using this drop down type, it means you have to create the form manually. You have to create every field of the form manually. But we don't have time to do that, so we're just going to use the status that we have right there. Or another thing that we can do here is to come to the database, right? This is how to make it easy and create a data type called status. And for that data type called status, we'll just leave it as a name and come back here and say add status. We would say lead, right? Add another status. We would say prospect. Then add another status and we will say customer, right? So once we do that, I'm pretty sure you know what I'm thinking about right now. We'll come to contacts and instead of having this status standing alone, we'll delete it. We'll delete it and then we'll click on add property. We'll say relationship with status. So a status can have multiple contacts. A contact belongs to one status. A status can only have one contact. A contact can have multiple status. So we're going to say one-to-many relationship. And we'll say save. So if we come back here, click on the feed and delete that column, then click on visible column, add status, we will see that status is now a drop down. Why? Because this status is coming from the relationship side of things, right? So what we'll do first is that we're just going to fill it in. Let's fill it and we'll see the data that will come in. In order for us to do that, we'll click on the view app and we'll say staging app preview. One thing that is exciting about building with no code is that you see whatever you're designing as fast as possible, right? So click on sign up. I'm just going to use a test user, but this is a terrible password, a terrible email to use for yourself, right? I'm going to say password, I'm going to say call, right? Then I'll say sign up. So now we're here and we're clicking on add contact, but nothing is happening. The reason why nothing is happening is because we didn't tell Adalo when I click on add contact, I need you to go to that other screen. So come back here and we'll click on add contact and we will say add action, and we'll say link to add contact. Now you can see the arrows right there. It's linking. We can even change the transition. Different transition is fine. So let's add another test. Let's add another button here. Just drop it here. I will say go back. So this will just navigate back to the home screen. That's all. So we have to close and we review our application all over again. If we click on add contact, we see we have it. If we click on go back, it's going back. We click add contact. So let's do, my name is Paul, no code, Paul, and then my last name, Adams, and then my email is testuser@gmail.com, and then phone number assigned to, so it's going to pick which user. So we have one user in this application, so it's going to assign it to that one user. And you can see we have the status lead, prospect, and customer. So I'm going to call this a lead, and I'm going to create contact. In order to improve this, we will have to tell the user that your contact have been created, but for the sake of this tutorial, we will, chill on that one. Let's come back to our database. We would see that we have one record created. Here's it. First name, last name, email, phone number, assigned to. They don't have a company yet. Then the status is lead, and created date and updated date has been updated. So what we'll do again, we'll click here, we'll copy this and paste it on all of the screens. Copy, paste it in here. I'm just doing a Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. That's what I'm doing. If you're using a Mac, it's going to be Command-V and Command-C. So we have this other one, we have this other form here. We'll add another form here. It says create companies. So we'll tell that this is going to be a company thing. And then we'll add another form again that says this is going to be a note. This is going to be which data collection is going to be for the notes. And then we'll add another one, the last one. And we'll put it in here. And so which data collection it would say is going to be for the deals, right? So let's start with the add companies. The ad company, let's click on the feed. We will see that we have the name, we have the name, we have the industry, we have the website. But let's add a visible feed to it called the contact. So what it means is that it's gonna bring out a drop down and ask the user to pick which contact this company belongs to. So let's go to the note. Note, we will see. Let's add the contacts. Yeah, which contact this particular node belongs to. But for the created by, it's going to be the logged in user, don't worry. It's going to be the logged in user. Why? Because if this person is signed in, Adalo can easily track the logged in user and collect the data from them. And the last one is going to be deals. Click on feeds, add visible feed. We're going to click assign to, and then we're going to also click contact. Right? So that's all we do. Let's go preview our application and see. So you can see that building a CRM with Adalo, it's not the toughest thing in the world. It's just your ability to know what your app should do and using Adalo to do it. So let's click on add companies. We still have to add a link to all of this, add an action to all of this. So let's click, it's going to go to add companies, click on add note. It's going to go to add notes. Then lastly, we'll click on add deals. It's going to go to add deals. So I'm going to go here and review our application again. Right? If you're here already, congratulations. If you're not subscribed to my channel, feel free to click on the subscription button right there and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. So let's click on add companies. So here we're going to add company. Name of our company will be main one. The industry would be tech. Website would be main1.com. And we'll select the contact that's going to handle this particular lead. That is, we'll select the contact that this company belongs to. We have one contact in our database, so we'll pick one code and say create. Now we're done. Let's go back to add notes. So we're just imagining that we have a meeting. We just had a meeting with a customer. Now it's time for us to add notes. But meanwhile, you can automate this note. Adalo has an API that will enable you to collect notes from an external service and update this particular note, right? So let's say discovery call, content, a very interesting section with content about the deal on the table. Okay, the date created, I'm going to leave it at today's 5th, I'm going to leave it at today, that's fine. So oftentimes, you don't really have to add the date created. You can tell Adalo to create it for you. Then we'll choose a contact that this note belongs to, and we'll say create note. Okay, let's okay, great. Okay, now that's created. Let's go back, and lastly, add deals. So deal will be new 100K deal, and the amount is going to be 100,000. Stage. So we also need to create this collection, right, for this particular deals collection. We have to create like the stage. The stage will be new, in progress, won, or lost. So let's say 1. And now we also have to add a close date today, then assign to contact portal code, and then we'll create. But if you're assigning the contract, it's likely that it's not been won, so we're just going to call it new instead and say create deals. So now the deal has been created, and we have to click on back. If we go back to our CRM right here, we will see that we have one record everywhere. This is the company record. We'll see that we have a contact. We'll see that we also have 1 deals, we have 1 note, and we have 3 status, right? So this is the major way that CRM would look like. Not in terms of the UI, because the UI is a different thing entirely, but just know that mostly a CRM is always asking you to fill forms. Okay, so the next thing is to display this data, because you want it to be something that you can see and make very, very important decisions. So let's add another screen. So here I'm going to display all the contacts. This is the only one I'll display, and after doing this, I think that will be good. So we'll say contact display, we'll click on the plus sign, and what we need is a list, right? We need a very, very simple list. So we'll come back here and we'll click on list, right? We need a very simple list. Put it right here. Not this one. I think that's way overboard, so let's take this one. Put it right here. So this is going to be our contact list, and we'll take your text and put it right here. And we'll say contact list, right? And we'll click on this data, click on this list, click on it, it's going to be contact, and it's going to be, so if you are the admin, if your role is the admin, then you would have to take all the, look at all the contact. But if it's just going to be for this user only, then it has to be the logged in user. So then after doing that, we'll have to assign the text some value. So for subtitle, saying, we're going to go to contact. We'll say, create a date. Click into the creation date. Yeah, really seems fine. And then for the left protection, there's no image or whatsoever of this. So just, turn it off, right? And for right selection, we'll just use something like an eye. So we can use an eye or we can use a note. So let's imagine that this person will have to click this to go into the note section in order for them to leave a note for the company, right? So let's add a way for the contact to go to the page we just created, to go to the contact display page. So I'm going to duplicate this here and say go to contact display. So we'll say contact display, right? Let's rerun the application again. Go to contact display, and we see that we have one contact display, right? So that's the way you want to do it. That's the way you do it. So CRM is about collecting data, adding forms as a way to collect data, then displaying that data in your application in order to have good documentation and to be able to make some very, very good decisions. If you're done with your application, always use this S-ray to see what's consuming so much resource into your application and make the adequate changes. Right? So that's the way you build a very simple CRM. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you like it. If you have a question, feel free to reach out to me in the comment section. In order to take your design forward, there are a couple of things that you could add to it, right? You could add automation, right? So that when a user is added as a lead, so what happens is that user enters right into an email sequence, and you can keep on sending the user that email until the status change, right? So other things that you can do is that you can add things like activity timeline to your CRM. You can add things like a dashboard for analytics. You can allow people import and export data if you like it. You can even add an AI summarizer for most of the notes that you're creating. So if you have like 200 notes for a client, you can add an AI summarizer in order for that AI to tell you everything that has been happening in that particular note, right? So you can introduce AI to this. You can even research about a lead. So say, for example, a lead comes in, they have a website, they have a LinkedIn handle. You can use AI to research about that lead and and then once you research, you dump the result of the research into your mobile application. These are love things that can really work. And how do you get to do this? You can do this automation using the tool like Zapier, and those can work. And for the AI part of it, you can use OpenAI to automate all of this. So I just think those are features that you can add, and you can keep on improving as your company or your business see fit. If you're looking forward to building an internal tool, or you're looking forward to building an app using Adalo, feel free to contact me via link below. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope this tutorial helped you gain clarity for those of us building CRM for ourselves or building it for other people using Adalo. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and keep that notification bell on. I'll see you in a different lesson entirely. Bye.